Alright, peeps, just remember that this is my first time watching this, so what you're seeing is what I'm seeing, alright? So I have no idea.
I've had a pit bull for 9.5 years. I live in New York City. The breed appealed to me because it's a very strong dog that's not very big. So you have a lot of the qualities of a bigger dog, but in a smaller package. I also didn't want a dog that would be skittish, and they're very steady when they come from reputable breeders who know what they're doing. They are overly friendly, and it's a very widespread misunderstanding that the dogs are human aggressive. The dogs themselves, when properly bred, do not possess that inherent characteristic. This was at a pit bull show in Seguin, Texas, and in every show that I've been to, and pretty much every show that they have, there's a category called Junior Handler, and he won the Junior Handler category that day. The environment at these dog shows is very congenial, very family-oriented. People bring their families for the whole weekend. He's Juan. He's from Florida. He's somebody I met at a pit bull show, and obviously he is very much of the moment, and he's got some pit bull rings also. There are a lot of T-shirts and rings and bumper stickers and any of those things that people choose to possess that help represent the thing that they're into. There's definitely an image identity exchange between this breed and their owners. You know, people like to have something that represents a bit of who they are. I think that's across the board with a lot of things that people are enthusiastic about. Michael is an artist. He and his wife Caroline live in the city, in Atlanta, and South is the dog that they rescued.
My name is Michael Gibson, and this is my dog South and I. I live in downtown Atlanta in the Lock District, and we go for walks from time to time out on a vacant lot that runs along the railroad. He was a rescue dog, and I got him back in, I think it was 1996. I walked through the big dog runs and noticed a brindled male dog sort of curled up in the corner. And I shook the cage, and all of a sudden this sort of little square guy sort of pops up and turns around and faces me, you know. And he was pretty fierce looking, but I could just tell by the way he was sort of interacting with me that he was okay. And they said that he had been brought in and that he'd been confiscated and that he wasn't up for adoption. And because, you know, when I looked at him, he was like, he had a lot of scars and it looked like he sort of had a rough go of the first 2 years of his life. And after about 15 days or so, they sort of decided that, you know, I wasn't going to go away and I was probably going to cause problems if they actually put him down. So they entertained the idea of me adopting him. He's a great dog. I've had dogs my entire life. Sorry to say that he's gone, but definitely never forget him.
This is actually a friend of mine's wife and dog and their babysitter. This is in Whittier, California on the south side. The dog's name is Cypress, named after Cypress Hill. Cypress is their family dog.
SoCal represent.
The dog is lovely,
Just kidding.
you know, well looked after. The picture is one that's maybe a little sexier than some of the other pictures in the book, which is fine by me. This is at a weight pull event. The dogs are harnessed to a cart, which has either steel bars or cinder blocks or some other such weight. People at first sort of look at these pictures and wonder if it's not a cruel thing. The dogs have been trained to do this. They are a working dog breed, and they love it. I can honestly tell you that the bonding experience and the actual sport of what the dogs are doing, it's just, you know, the dogs, after they're taken off the cart, after having pulled the weight, you know, the dogs are heavily praised by their owners. The tails are wagging like crazy. I love this photo. It's, to me, almost some ritualistic dance that's going on between the dog and the owner. Pitfall Kennels, which is in Fairburn, Georgia, outside of Atlanta, is run by James Patton and his brother Antoine. His brother Antoine is more popularly known as Big Boy from Outkast. Their facilities were pristine. It was set back in the woods. They had a huge run area for the dogs. The dogs were incredibly healthy, incredibly well looked after. The dogs can be fed from inside or outside and accessed from inside or outside. It was one of the best setups I had seen. There's quite a sad story here. Paula and Kyler Thomas, some affluent businessman neighbor of theirs, called them with threats, and they had to get rid of their dogs, you know. And she recounts about how devastating it is.
My name is Paula Thomas. I'm a licensed veterinary technician. And the picture is a picture of Tenacity's Tim Skillett, and that is Christina Walters, who owns him, and myself, who bred him from a female that I own. My original two pit bulls from the 1980s, not the dog in the picture, but Exit and Ajax. The neighborhood in which our dogs lived, at my husband's mother's house, they really decided they didn't want pit bulls in the neighborhood. They thought they were dangerous, even though there was no basis for that. The dogs had done nothing wrong. One of the stories that happened was apparently a neighborhood kid said that they were chased by our dog during the day. Well, I came home, did not find that to be true. The dog was padlocked still in his pen, so there was no way it could have been our dog. They brought it before a judge, and we were required to find new homes for our dogs, which we did so.
That young man is holding up a picture of a dog that was taken away by the police. The dog got loose in a yard that was in the housing project that he lived in, and the dog was confiscated. But by and large, I would say 99.99% of the people, I can almost speak for 100% of the people in the book, are responsible owners who know the correct conduct and the correct handling of these dogs. The dogs, they love human attention and they love activity. They are a breed that isn't for everyone, that's for sure. In this particular picture, you see how much pleasure the guy gets just from hanging out with his dog. I think that a lot of the people in the book, on the surface, were very different from me. I was willing to set aside any differences that I had that were surface differences and focus on the one thing that I have in common.